Well, um, I just said we're going to talk about the Cowboys at the end, but I feel like you're probably not going to be able to wait that long.
I can wait. It's just the pain, the misery, the suffering.
I feel so
It
bad for
never
you.
ends. It
That
never
that game was whack. It was whack.
ever ends.
Like at least, at the very least, at least you can look at it and say that they just didn't show up,
Yeah,
like as a whole.
we can either talk about it now or I can wait till the end.
You might as well just talk about it now.
Yeah. See, I don't even know where to start, Charlie. I'm getting ready for the game Sunday afternoon. And we talked about it last week or whenever the fuck we recorded about how I was like, damn, dude, we're playing the Packers. We're 1-9 against them in our last 10. I don't know, man. They're not a good matchup. I thought we would win, but sitting there and I can usually tell. I can usually tell by how the first drive of each team goes if the Cowboys are going to win or if they're going to lose. Typically, I'm pretty accurate with it. And Charlie, you know this about me. I'm a pretty even keeled guy. So forgive me if I get a little loud or a little angry. Um, I'm sitting here and put on my Cowboys jersey. Packers win the toss and they're like, we're going to receive the ball. And I was like, okay, let's go. Let's sack up. If we stop them right here, they have no momentum. They have no momentum. If they say we're going to take the ball and score and we stop them on their first drive, it's over. They take a 7.5 minute drive and score a touchdown. Two third and longs. Got zero pass rush. Michael Parsons, where you at, brother? Where you been? I've been looking for you. There should be a missing persons report for you. You haven't shown up in big moments since you got here. It's been 3 years. You've played in the first playoff game you played in, you lost. The second one, you didn't have to do much because it was Tom Brady's last year and those Buccaneers sucked. The third one, Trent Williams made you his bitch for the second year in a row. And the fourth one, you're playing against a second string left tackle because David Bakhtiari is out for the season, and you don't make any impact at all whatsoever. I thought you were this generation's Lawrence Taylor. That's what I had heard. Is that what you had heard?
I've never thought very highly of Michael Parsons ever since he
Yeah,
came.
he's a fake no show. He's not going to show up in big moments. He never will. He never has. He's too worried about that podcast. He thinks he's better than he is. Don't get me wrong. Michael Parsons is a good football player. I'm not saying he's
They're
trash and we
also
should cut him.
utilizing him differently in the past 2 years than they were his rookie season. Because now
Yes,
they're not utilizing him in the linebacker role very much, which
he's
is
too small to be defensive end, and
right.
he's too small.
But when he was getting utilized both ways, when he came onto the line, it was kind of like
When he was getting utilized as an edge rusher,
that's why he could get in.
we also had Leighton Vander Esch playing middle linebacker. We have no linebackers. We have safety hybrid linebackers. And Dan Quinn, I'd like to talk to you. I know you'll never see this in your life, but I'd like to just direct my angered energy at you for a second. You've made zero adjustments ever. I've never seen Dan Quinn make a defensive adjustment in my life. Never seen it. If it doesn't work, he's like, well, this is what we game planned all week. Guess we'll stick with it.
I've read articles that he could be up for going somewhere else as a defense.
Go, get the fuck out. Bye. I won't miss you. Micah Parsons was like, who knows? Maybe he'll take me with him. Bye, get out. We don't need you. You don't show up anyways when it matters most. Dan Quinn, get out. Trayvon Diggs, we missed you very much. I can't wait to have you back.
Hey, that.
Deron Bland, where were you at? You're supposed to be this ball hawk corner. I didn't even hear your name on Sunday. We're supposed to have a three-headed monster at safety. We've got tight ends and slot receivers running open in the middle of the field. They showed a play where they had to take the camera and zoom out to find the nearest defender, 17 and a half yards away. That was the closest
Yeah,
defender.
it was
Catch.
the tight end when he just kind of
Yep. Yep.
they forgot to switch off on
You
him.
know what Matt LaFleur did? He just watched the San Francisco game film and did that. And now, while we're talking about not showing up in big moments, Dak Prescott.
So I agree, but at the
Dak
same
Prescott.
time, it was an entire team effort of not being there. There is not one person on that team that I would
I've been
say,
listing people. I didn't start and say it was only Dak's fault.
no. I'm saying I know, but
And I
I
want
listen to
our
big
loyal viewers can
impact
attest.
people.
Our loyal viewers can attest. I haven't been on the Dak train all year. I told you I wasn't believing in that fool until he got us to the conference championship game.
Yeah.
I told you I wasn't really going to believe in this team till we got there. I thought we could get there and I predicted we'd get there, but I wasn't going to get excited. Dak Prescott, you threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. What were your stats when the game was 48-16? That's what I'd like to know. It's 20-0. End of the first half. You've got a chance to do the 4-4, like Bill Belichick loves to do. You get the ball at the end of the first half, you score a touchdown, you get it after halftime, you score another touchdown. That's 14-point swing right there. That's 20-14. We're right back in this thing. Their buttholes get tight and clenched. Who knows? The 7 seed, the young guys, they start making mistakes. Dak Prescott, what do? You throw a pick six at the end of the first half. Dak, you don't show up, you don't deserve the money you already got, and you damn sure don't deserve the extension. Mike McCarthy, look, man, that Super Bowl was a long time ago. I was 4'2" when you won that Super Bowl. You're not a good coach. Sure, you helped Dak have his best year of his career. Sure, that's great. That's fantastic. I love the regular season. The regular season is where all your money's made, right, Charlie? That's where all the money and legacy is made is in the regular season. That's right. Oh, wait. No. No one gives a shit about the regular season ever. Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. And until he won that Super Bowl in 2006, no one gave him any credit. They said he's fine. He's smart. He could throw the ball well, I guess, but he hasn't done anything. Dak, this is year 8, brother. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for you to do something, for you to do anything that should prove that we should trust you. And last, but certainly not least, Gerald Wayne Jones. After getting outclassed in his Texas accent, he comes down, talk to the media, and he says, I'm floored. I think we all were. I think any football fan who's watched football all year was floored. No one, I don't care who you are, no one thought that was going to happen.
Mm.
No one thought that was going to be the result. You might have thought the Packers would win, maybe on like a walk-off field goal or a late touchdown, something like that. But you did not think it'd be 48-16 with 5 minutes to go. Don't care who you are. He says he's floored. He says he needs some time to process. You got Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl champ out there. You've got Pete Carroll, who I'm sure would give up his advising job to get back on the sideline. You've got Jim Harbaugh interested in NFL teams. You've got proven coaches that are out there, and you decide to stick with that fat fuck Mike McCarthy, that no good son of a bitch. I'm just done, dude. They asked Mike McCarthy in his, I guess, I don't even know what they call it. He had a press conference that was basically like, "Oh, you're not fired." It was basically a "you're not fired" press conference. They asked him, why should Cowboys fans believe in this? And he said, well, we've built a championship culture. Excuse me? What do you mean you've built a championship culture? You haven't been to the Final Four in 28 years.
What?
Mike McCarthy, your team's never ready to play. Mike McCarthy, you got out coached by a coach that's 25 years younger than you that replaced you in Green Bay.
Yeah, now we see why I got replaced.
Now we see why he got replaced. Now we see why he was on his fat ass in Wisconsin for a year doing nothing. He said he was watching tape. He didn't do shit. You can tell by the way he ran his offense for the first 5 weeks. He didn't put a motion offense in until after we got beat 42-10. I'm done, dude. I don't care. I'm gonna watch football. I love football. I love the game. I guess I'm a Cowboys fan, but I give up. I'm tired of it. I'm not buying in. There's no reason to buy in.
Because it's just the same shit every year.
It's the same shit every year. And I'm honestly surprised I wasted 15 minutes of this fucking podcast talking about it. I'm sorry that that was that long and you didn't get to say much. Uh, but
That's fine. I'm gonna get my piece in.
I'm done. The pain, the misery, the suffering of being a Dallas Cowboy fan never ends. Jerry Jones, you should trade Dak's ass or just bite the bullet and rebuild the fucking thing. Let him go. We don't need him. I would rather be 5-12 with no quarterback than watch that motherfucker choke in the playoffs every year. I'm done with him. I'm done with them. Micah, fuck off. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with Dan Quinn. I'm done with Mike. I'm done with that old fuck Jerry Jones. The only one I really like, there's two people that I really like on the Dallas Cowboys. Jake Ferguson, pretty good tight end, and
Mhm.
CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the only actual star we have. Everyone else, they can go. Zach Martin, you're getting kind of old too, buddy. You held out of training camp to be the highest paid guard in the league at 34 years old. Tyron Smith, you're hurt every week. Get out of here. Tyler Biotis, you're a shitty center. Terrence Steele, we paid you all that money. You tore your ACL. I get it. That sucks. Where were you? Haven't seen you. You're like a wall of water out there. Just run through. Run around. You're not stopping anything. You fat fuck. DeMarcus Lawrence. You're supposed to be Tank Lawrence. You haven't done shit for 7 years, buddy. Mozzie Smith, first round pick. Didn't flash on my screen at all this year. I'm done with him. You got it.
So as a whole, I don't. So this is what I'm going to compare that Cowboys team to. The Alabama team in the national championship a few years ago.
No, nope, nope. You said national. You said championship. They don't
The,
even qualify. They don't even qualify. Nope. No,
hold on,
no, no,
because
no,
I'm
no, no,
just
no,
it's
no,
not. I'm not
no.
comparing the game. I'm just comparing what happened in the
Exactly. In the championship game. Pick another game. Say Auburn in the Iron Bowl against that Alabama team. That's who we are. Keep going.
no, because that wasn't even that bad. So you remember a few years ago, I think it was Alabama played Georgia. It was either Georgia or I want to say it was either Georgia, Clemson, or LSU for some reason. I'm like totally blanking on it now, but they went into that game and just got absolutely fucking shellacked. Like the entire team just didn't play good for some odd reason. It doesn't matter who it was, what position, anything. They just played bad. And that is exactly what happened to the Cowboys. Not a single person on that team showed up to have a good game. CD and Dak were on opposite, like they weren't not on the same page. One was on the front cover and one was on the back cover the entire
I'm
game.
sure it's Dak's fault.
Not necessarily because CD had a couple balls that he should have caught that he just didn't. And you just kind of look at that and go like, what the fuck is going on? The defense, I don't even fucking know what was going on with them. I thought they were just having trouble and then they had that fucking wide open tight end down the
Dude,
field.
we played man to man all year, and then Dan Quinn's like, "Oh, I have a good idea. Let's play zone."
Yeah, that's
That
why.
didn't for the first drive. That should have been the end of it.
Um, it was just a bad game from everybody on the Cowboys. Everybody. And then the coaches did absolutely nothing to adjust for it. And they just let it happen all game. All fucking game. Mike McCarthy needs to go. Dan Quinn needs to go.
Well, they're both staying. They're running it back. They already said they're both coming back. What's the definition of insanity, Charlie? Do you know?
Same thing over again and expecting a different result.
Oh my God. It's like we have an insane owner. Oh, wait.
Jerry Jones is the new Dan Snyder. Well, I say that, but he's like ancient
Without the
compared to
scandals.
Snyder. Yeah, Jerry Jones needs to sell the team.
I'm
Sell it.
done with them, dude. Like I said, I'm
Sell
excited
it.
for football. And I'm gonna, if they're in the playoffs next year, I'll watch. If they're not, whatever. I enjoy the playoffs more when they're not there. Actually, there's no stress.
That's
Uh,
fair. Well, let's get off the Cowboys because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
yeah, let's just go kind of in order. So let's start with the Texans Browns.
I got that one so fucking wrong.
Me too.
So fucking wrong. At this point, CJ Stroud, let's fucking get it. Let's get him to the Super Bowl
Dude,
and him to win this. I want a rookie quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
I've been seeing these things like NFL fans' dream matchups in the Super Bowl, Detroit and Houston, and I'm like, I would be so down, dude. That would be awesome. But CJ played lights out, man. I mean, lights out.
Uh, I mean, props for Joe Flacco for making it, getting signed by that team, making it to the playoffs.
It was a competitive first half, I guess.
But holy shit, CJ Stroud is he is generational. He is going to be the best up and coming quarterback in this league for a long time.
And I know the votes are already in, but if there was any doubt that D'Amico Ryans should be the head coach of the year, there's not anymore.
Not anymore.
Dude, I think they're gonna go in there and beat Baltimore, bro.
At this point, that is what I want to happen. I want the Texans to win the Super Bowl.
Baltimore's gonna be rusty. Their starters haven't played a game at that point in 21 days against a hot young team. It's like the Packers, right? They don't know what they don't know yet. They're young. They're just like shit. This is the playoffs. This is cool, I guess.
Right. I mean, the only place I see the Texans offense is just stellar. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they could use a couple things here and there,
Dude,
but
imagine if their rookie Tank Dell didn't get hurt, dude.
dude, even though he did get hurt, they're still doing great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if they had him, is what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, them
he
adding Dalton Schultz at tight end was a great move. Sucks for the Cowboys, but you guys probably wouldn't have drafted Jake Ferguson if you didn't get rid of Dalton
yeah,
Schultz.
we had Jake when we had Dalton, and Dalton wasn't the reason we lost. But anyways,
Anyway,
but
uh,
yeah,
I'm on the Texans train now because I was cheering for the Cowboys for you, and we see how that ended. So at this point, like you just said, I want to see a Texans Lions Super Bowl, and I'll be happy if either of them win because either I get a rookie quarterback that wins the Super Bowl for the first time ever, and probably the only time ever,
with the Lions.
or the Lions win, and I can text Cody and be like, "Holy shit, the Lions won the Super Bowl."
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, there's not much else to say about C.J. Stroud. I mean, he's that dude. He's gonna be a great quarterback. Um, I don't know. I guess I'll just move to the Browns because I mean, there's nothing else to say about the kid. The Browns, Joe Flacco came back down to earth. I think the Texans won the trade between Deshaun Watson. Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland, I'm sure regrets giving him $250 million fully guaranteed. Uh, I don't know. The Browns, they got a good coach, they got a good defense, they've got some weapons on offense. I just don't think they have a quarterback. Even when Deshaun's healthy, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson's done.
I think he's washed up. I think he's done.
Get his money and get out.
And then the nightcap on Saturday, the Dolphins Chiefs. Sorry, Greg. Uh, I mean, it wasn't really fair. The Dolphins had no starters on defense. They were playing third string people at defensive end. They were signing dudes off the street to come play a playoff game. I mean, their defense was dismantled. I think they had two starters out there, Christian Wilkins and Jalen Ramsey. Everyone else was hurt. So I mean, the Chiefs did what they had to do. The Chiefs defense is real. I mean, no matter how cold it is, it's hard to stop Tyreek Hill. So
Right. I mean, that was probably the best, like, overall by both teams in the wild card that we saw.
I think the Lions Rams was pretty damn good.
It was. It
That
was.
was a good ass game.
Did you see what happened to Patrick Mahomes' helmet?
I've never seen that before, ever.
It's just crazy, isn't it?
I, I, I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, like I've seen paint chip off a helmet,
Well,
like
yeah,
that Notre Dame player a few years ago, where like literally all the gold came off his helmet.
right.
But and that was a new one of the newer Vices helmets, like
Yeah.
year or two or whatever. And it's supposed to be the best helmet a player can wear. That perturbs me a little bit to see it shatter like that from a really not very hard head-to-head contact. So I don't know if like people are saying, oh, it was really, really cold.
Yeah, that's just weather. I mean, when it's cold like that, that stuff gets brittle and easy to break. So,
Yeah, but we ain't never seen that happen before, and we've had games that cold before.
well, kind of. I mean, that was the fourth coldest game in NFL history. So, I mean,
So I'm hoping that it was just a little of a, you know, bad one of the batch from Vices.
yeah,
But I really hope that raises some questions about quality control for NFL players' helmets.
yeah,
Not even just NFL players, but they sell those helmets to high schools and
right.
league teams. Like I just hope that's not something that we need to be worried about is helmets deteriorating after contact.
I mean, I don't know. Like you said, this is the first time we've ever seen it. So, like, I'm sure they're going to do some research on what happened and look at the angle of hit and how he got
Right.
hit. And
As they
I
should.
I am 100% positive with my engineer brain here that the cold had a lot to do with why that
I
happened.
mean, I'm sure it
If
did.
that was 50 degrees, that wouldn't have happened.
I'm sure it did.
-30
But at the same time, it does make you kind of wonder, like, is this something that
makes you wonder if they should even played.
because it was that cold?
I
Yeah.
mean, they moved the Bills and Steelers game because of snow. I mean, -30. I mean, look, I get it, like elements is part of the game, but I mean, 15 people went to the hospital because they went to the game. I mean, 15 fans had to go to the hospital. Like, come on, guys. Like,
That's pretty ridiculous.
just move it back to Sunday at 1 during the day. Like, it's fine. You're not going to lose any viewers. I promise. It's the NFL playoffs and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And it's on Peacock, which was stupid anyways.
Yeah. And like, yeah, the home field advantage thing, I get that. But at the same time, there got to be a certain point when, like you said, people go to the hospital, it's dangerous for people to be out in that.
People went to the hospital after the Bills Steelers game, which that game sucked, dude. Dude, every game this weekend was not competitive except the Rams Lions.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Matthew Stafford returned. I don't know how I felt about the fans booing him. I didn't really like that. He didn't do anything.
I was about to say it was the Lions that chose not to re-sign him, wasn't it?
Well, they traded him because they knew they couldn't win anything, and they knew they had to rebuild, and they didn't want to put him through that. I thought it was a mutually respectful decision.
Yeah. I didn't tune in for the beginning of that game. I just watched the replays.
Yeah, they booed him, and I
That's
don't
kind
know.
of shit. You don't really expect that kind of shit from Lions fans.
Like I don't get it. Like you, two
He
years
didn't
ago,
do nothing.
you were rooting for him in the Super Bowl. Like I don't understand.
Right. I mean, I guess maybe it's I don't know. Maybe they were just
Maybe
angry that he couldn't do it with them.
I guess, or maybe that had to be more for Jared Goff. You know what I mean? Like they were probably doing that in support of their quarterback, I guess. But either way, I'm happy for it. Was a good game, competitive game. Um, Ended on a controversial call, which you never like, but you know
Happens.
it happens. Now Monday night, I was still depressed, but um, watching the Eagles get their shit pushed in made me feel a lot better.
Fuck you, Philly.
Um,
Called it.
I don't know where they go. I mean, their defense is horrible, dude.
So I wrote this
It
down.
is
Reported
horrible.
today, right here, right up here at the top. Matt, right there. Baker,
Baker,
300 yards,
300.
three touchdowns. He threw
I
for
think
337 and three touchdowns.
I think if he would have done anything less than that, it would have been disappointing because I mean that defense is terrible. I mean it's awful.
Not as bad as Philly's defense.
That's what I'm saying. Philly's defense is awful.
I thought you're saying Baker, the Buff.
Jalen Hurts, I think we saw more of who he actually is. I think last year with the Super Bowl run and how good he was, I honestly think that was a fluke. I mean, look at every year of football he's ever played. That's the outlier.
Yeah, I mean, even taking it back to his college days, there's a reason Nick Saban put Tua in over Jalen Hurts, and Jalen
And
Hurts
now
transferred to Oklahoma.
and now Jalen Hurts came in again when Tua got hurt in that SEC title game. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's the answer. I think that defense is hot awful. Um,
I agree with you because you
Nick
see,
Sirianni, never liked him. Think he's a front runner. Think he's a bitch. Um, Ever since he shouted at the Chiefs fans, I don't hear you guys now. They were 1-7. They're 1-6, and their defense was historically bad. I don't know what Nick Sirianni does well as a coach. He obviously doesn't hire good coordinators because he lost his two, and they were shit this year. So
well, the back on Jalen Hurts, when you see, so first of all, I've talked about this before because I hate it. Jalen Hurts is the most unemotional motherfucker you ever seen play a football game.
yeah,
He doesn't
it's
get
kind of
hyped up.
annoying.
He doesn't get angry. He's just all the time. He
And
looks
his
as
press
cool as it.
conferences, dude, I can't take it, dude. I literally cannot watch his press conference.
He's a robot. He has no emotion. He's a robot.
And
It's
he
ridiculous.
tries to like say these like Instagram life quotes in and I'm like, dude, just stop. If you're gonna be the robot at the press conference, use the cliches. Don't try to be like deep and emotional and
Right. Well, he tries to do that shit, and you can tell even his own players. There's a clip from the Bucks game where Dallas Goddard, their tight end, they
yelling
picked
at him.
up after Zach Ertz left. Jalen's just sitting there on the bench, straight face like always. Dallas Goddard is screaming at him,
This is
and
Jalen's.
Marcus Mariota is holding him back, and Jalen's just sitting there looking at him like,
Jalen goes like,
and
bro, if I was on it, I'd be like, dude, give me something, anything.
right, show me some fucking emotion. Show me that you give a shit about the game.
Dude, you could come scream at me. Show me something
Right, that you actually care. I
that you
mean,
fucking
so you
shit
know how
about
I
what you're
feel
doing.
about Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Taylor Heineke. He is not a great quarterback. He's pretty
Nope.
good. I think
He
he
has his
could
moments.
start at a lot of places.
He has his moments.
Really not a great quarterback.
But he was a
But
best leader.
exactly. The reason everybody loved him is he got so hyped all the time. I mean, you remember the Superman run
Yep.
against the Bucks where he dived from like the 7 yard line and hit the pylon with the ball, and he got up screaming, hooting, and hollering.
Dude,
And
Chase Young ran from your sideline without his helmet to the end zone.
yes,
Like, yeah,
when
I
you
don't know.
have people like that, it makes a difference. It does. And having a quarterback that's just a non emotional robot, and I'm kind of calling you out here, Sam Howell, because you used to get hype about it, but now you're getting sacked too many times, so you're not hype anymore. If you look at his picture from his first year in the NFL versus this year, it looks like a mugshot.
I
Having a non-emotional robot for a quarterback is not good for a team. You need you can get away with it if you have somebody else on your team that gets you excited. But look at the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes gets hyped as fuck. Look at the Bills. Josh Allen gets hyped as fuck. The Ravens don't really do it. Lamar Jackson doesn't really get hyped like that. The 49ers,
It doesn't have to be your quarterback. It has to be somebody.
somebody, but it helps when it's the quarterback, especially on offense. Because
It
most of
just
the
looked
time, offense doesn't really have anybody like that
it
besides
just
the
looked
quarterback.
like they didn't have anybody that like could do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. They look dead in the water and they
Right.
don't have any leaders on their
I
team.
mean, even people like Jameis Winston, the
Yeah.
only reason he has still remained a quarterback in this
It's because
league,
he's a good leader.
yeah, even though he does some weird shit,
Yeah, you can think it's corny or like stupid, but like if your teammates dig it, that's all that matters.
right? I mean, look at the Cowboys. Without Trayvon Diggs there, who do they have that is that hype man?
They don't have a leader.
Exactly. Dak doesn't do that. Tony Pollard doesn't. CD doesn't.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I'm
he
not
can go
like
too.
I'm
Tony
not like
Pollard, he can go.
I'm not judging him for it because CD is just a pretty calm, like
Yeah.
overall pretty level guy. Great dude. But every team needs somebody like that. And the more the merrier. I mean, the Dolphins, I know they didn't win, but Tua and Tyreek, dog, they get fucking hype when they play together.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker Mayfield. I have never really liked Baker Mayfield. To me, he was just another Johnny Manziel.
All
Since
right.
he came to the Bucks, I like him a little bit better. But when he plays good, he's getting turned,
Yeah.
and it shows.
I know we kind of already talked about it with Deshaun, but I want to go through the other quarterbacks that lost this week, and tell me if it was their contract year, if you'd want to keep them, like re-sign them or let them go.
All right, hit me with it.
So Deshaun Watson, we already discussed. Let him go.
Washed.
Um, Matthew Stafford, keep him.
Keep him. He's a little bit old, but that veteranness is hard. You can't get rid of that, especially if they want to draft somebody, bring them in to study behind him.
Kenny Pickett. They said that he's
Yep.
gonna be the starter. I think you let him go, but I mean he's also pretty young.
He's also pretty trash.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a single game this season that made me think Kenny Pickett can do it. His name is
Okay.
also Kenny, so he can get fucked.
Tua.
Keep too bad about it.
Really,
Yeah.
really,
Yes.
you would keep Tua.
Keep Tua.
Why? What
Well,
is he proven that he can do?
one, you can't blame the loss on him. The defense was fucking atrocious.
Okay, but I mean, again, there were people off the street. Um, but he like it's not against the rules for Tua to score touchdowns. Like he's allowed to do that if his defense is bad. Like
I
he
mean,
My
yes.
thing with Tua is he's too afraid. He's too afraid to take a shot. The interception he threw, if you watch it, he's got Jalen Waddle on a crosser that if he hits him, Jalen Waddle's too fast. That might be six. And he's got pressure coming in his face so he can see how much time he's got to stand in, sit there, throw it. If he just sits in there and throws it and takes the shot, worst case it's incomplete or a pick and you get 15 yards.
Well, if I was too, I
That's
would probably be scared too. He's had a nasty injury after nasty injury
making my point.
in the NFL that weren't necessarily his fault. They weren't because he was reckless or anything like that.
No,
It was really
no.
bad.
Some people aren't reckless. Some people just are injury prone.
Well, like
If
the
you're injury prone and you don't show up in big games, what good are
the concussions you can't really say are an injury prone thing because
you?
that
Okay.
happens to anybody.
We can point out his ankle, his hip, whatever you want, his finger, whatever you want to pick,
And like the hip, that was a fucking freak injury.
whatever you want to say. It happens to him more than it happens to other
So
people.
looking looking at the level of quarterback play in this league, Tua is not at the point where you can say he needs to go.
I think.
Because if Tua goes at that point, you might start rebuilding because most
Well,
of the guys are older.
I don't think I have to say. I think the Dolphins have said it by losing a first round pick for tampering with trying to sign Tom Brady after he retired the first time. Um, the I know this is going back to college. The national championship game against Clemson. Did he do anything special? No, we lost 44-16.
Yeah, so it was Clemson that I was thinking
To
about.
get there, he got replaced by Jalen Hurts in the SEC championship game because he was hurt and he wasn't performing.
Well, when they took Jalen Hurts out for Tua,
He was a freshman and they had no film. I'm just saying. I'm not a Tua believer. I don't think he's
I'm not going to sit here and say Tua is amazing. He
I
does
don't
get
think I don't
off,
think
but
with Tua
compared to
putting
other
on
starting quarterbacks in the NFL,
I
Tua
don't think
deserves a spot as a starter, and he is
okay.
not bad.
Okay.
I think he
I
stayed.
don't think you can win a Super Bowl with Tua making 30% of your salary cap. That's all I'm saying.
Do I think he needs to restructure and probably get a little less money? Yes. Do I
Well, he
think
hasn't even gotten his long term deal. That's what I'm asking. Would you give him the long term deal?
if he wants a whole bunch of money? No. If you
Okay.
can get him at a reasonable price, yes, because nowadays you just have to spend that kind of money for a quarterback.
Okay.
It just is what it is. But if they
Um,
can get him at a decent price and build other things around him, yes, particularly that defense.
I think they're about to hit the point where they can't do that anymore. So,
We'll have to see because I really think if they put that defense together, the offense is good enough for them to really do things.
all right. We got less than a minute.
All right, I'll run through the other quarterbacks real quick.
Dak Prescott. That's it. I don't
No,
want.
no.
All right. Well, I'll see you in 10. We got to make our divisional round picks. So we have to come back this time.
All right, that's fine.
All right. See you in 10.
Deuces.